and she got a lot of bloopers with me in it and shit that I was saying. But he is so talented. I made a real friend that day of filming, like a true friend, and I've met many of them, and I'm pretty lucky. This community of actors is one of the most supportive communities. Like, we all want to see each other win. You would think that, like, I was up to play Judas in the new Bill and Ted at the Last Supper, and my good friend Miles Hindler booked the part, and I was more than happy because, like, after I watched it, I'm like, this was for you. Like, this was definitely for you. It wasn't for me. So we happy when we see each other win, and we want to see each other, succeed. And the support is amazing, man. It's I'm sure, like with musicians, this undying support in artists, and there's not a lot of hate now. I'm sure as you get up in the industry where there's $1 million checks and shit, then you start dealing with a lot of the real stuff, just like musicians do with record companies and stuff. But I'm happy in the indie world. I think I'm finding my place. I think I'm building something that can lead me to bigger things, and I'm getting that extra experience.
I also like that the indie world is no longer considered the B-rated world. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because Hollywood's turning on its fucking head right now.
Yeah,
because
and
with everybody taking political stances and social stances, I think now, because of social media, a lot of people lose ground because of that, right? Especially when it comes to celebrity types. People that you may have liked when you were a kid, now you see that they have this huge political outcry and you don't give a shit about them anymore, right? And it's because they feel like, and that's the one thing that I urge anyone who's doing anything in the arts is you got to remember where you came from. Okay, you're never so powerful to where if you're an actor, I want to see you act. I don't want to hear who you're voting for. I don't want to hear what your social status is. Okay, I care about your life. I might want to know what you're doing. Like, you might, if you're out fishing for some bull reds or something, that'd be a cool thing to see. But and I understand wanting to know more about people's lives. I mean, that's a big part of our society today, is following what people are doing, right?
Right.
But I think when it comes to that, that is the downfall of the worldwide media and Hollywood per se.
Definitely, man.
And that's why things like what we're doing, what the indie films, smaller time production companies, there's YouTube channels now to where they make these shorts with all this insane graphic design. There's this one group that we follow. They made the world's biggest lightsaber and cut the world in half, and it was badass.
Nice.
And it's a bunch of guys on some MacBooks, man.
Right.
So it's like, and those communities are growing and growing, and Silicon Valley is not taking over in the tech world anymore. It's spreading out, and people are starting to do this stuff, home production brews, just like we're doing here. And your production value doesn't have to be millions of dollars or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in order for something to be good, and that's happening more and more. And
I totally agree. It's in my opinion, it's become so conventional, and these things that are being born organically, like these podcasts, and there's some truth to what we discussed tonight about just anything that we've discussed, and I'm sure what y'all do in your other shows, and in the independent films, I'm learning that we are allowed to be truthful. And getting back to politics and shit, man, like, I fucking don't deal with politics. You'll never see me post something about politics. You can sit here and ask me, well, what is your political stance? Have none. Don't give a fuck. There's no man that's gonna dictate my life.
Right.
Like, I'm free here, man. Like, in my head. Like, and I'm good where I'm at. I'm like a law-abiding sovereign citizen or whatever. But I don't get into that bullshit. I don't get into religion. If you doing something that works for you, man, I'm fucking happy for you. Like, that's what I want. Yeah. I want you to be happy. I want something good working for you. Should be, man. And you're right, man. It's turned to whose side you on, and this person saying they stand for this, and this person staying for, and look, I'm all about people standing up for what they believe in. I totally am, but I don't think it's
at what cost?
At what cost? And I don't think it's our job to force it upon people. And I feel like sometimes that it is, forced upon people, and I don't know, man. It's just something I never get into. I never talk about, and
that's the best way to stay.
I'm sure
man.
we have like I'm sure probably we all have a lot of common and things about politics, but it's just something that. I mean, why? It's not gonna fucking change my day tomorrow.
What's really meaningful is the things we are saying now.
Right.
Not so much what I feel about a particular stance or anything. But would you consider doing a type of role that was a little bit more heavily politicized?
As I get further in my career with this, I'm starting to and I'm able to, in a certain extent, set boundaries as to what I want to contribute to and what I don't. If I feel that it's something unhealthy for the public, and if it's something, if I feel it's propaganda, because it's so fucking out there, then no. I mean, Antebellum had a big push of
it had a very heavy racial stance. It also had. I had mixed feelings about it. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I did too.
I find that a lot of I do not want middle-aged white men in the South to be a stereotype for racism.
Right.
Okay, because that is not the case.
Right.
All right. Yes, we do have bigots. We do have racists. But guess what?
Who doesn't?
They're not just in the South.
No.
They're worldwide.
Right.
But also, being an open-minded human being, I do see the different side of it. I see both sides.
Right.
But I also feel like I said, the media has really... I think it started back with the Swamp People days, Waterboy, things of that nature. They tend to... Those types of things make Southern people look illiterate. And that's what I'm fighting, is that's not the case. And I'm not saying Antebellum did that. I'm just saying it did have a very heavy racial prejudice in it, where and I understood where they were coming from, but also it needs to be understood that, and that's what I did like at the end, that people don't realize those things, but I guess because of being in production and us doing video editing and things that we do now, you look at film different now. When you get into the production side of it, now it's hard for me to watch something and not see how the effect was done.
Right.
It kind of ruins them. If you're a magician watching David Copperfield, you're like, fuck that guy. But it's just like when I see that, I like, I understand the way they do certain things. When a girl runs across that field and runs into the arms of that white cop, that people don't realize is that wasn't just an actor. That was put there for a reason, because this is a message that it's showing.
Right.
So as long as the message, like you say, is not something of evil empire, then I'm okay with it. I like edgy things. We've talked about some pretty deep discussional racial topics and societal topics on our show. But it's just, where is your, if you're trying to incite some type of hate, I just can't, I can't back that. I can't get behind that.
Right. And it's, so I'm at a point now to where I can, I've gotten scripts where I read them and I was like, oh, this is kind of not for me. Or I've turned down multiple roles as a white nationalist, and as an anti-Semitic, and as a Ku Klux Klan member, and I won't play them. And it's just a moral thing for me. It's not something I want to be a part of. And I get what they were trying to portray in that time. I just wasn't comfortable doing it. So now I'm a little bit more allowed, to play a little bit more, as far as giving wiggle room as to, like, maybe this is not for me, or now I'm really passionate about this, and it differs from everyone, and it all depends what's going on in my life at the time, and how I feel about things, and where I'm at spiritually, and so it plays a big role. All those things play a big role when I decide I'm gonna take a script on or not, because I know a lot of people out there, they'll just take anything. They'll take any kind of work or anything that'll give them exposure, or anything to add to their demo reel, and and I'm pretty, I'll put it this way, I'm in good hands with my film family. I'm guided well. There's things that I get and I run by certain people and they're like, well, this is what they've done and these were experiences of other people, and that's what's so cool about the networking that we have and the family we have in the film industry.
And I'm sure the film industry talks, man.
Oh, it does, man. It does. Like you fuck up once,
and everybody knows.
Like
and wildfire.
Every casting agent
it's like living in Lockport all over again.
Every casting director knows, and if you go out there and you don't have a good work ethic and you don't trust me, they talk about people getting blackballed. It's fucking real. It's they just won't ask you to work again. Yeah. Because they're not the quality of person that you were.
Right.
Because
that's the entertainment industry.
That's it all around.
That's really what it's about, dude. And like you said, if you keep that same head on your shoulders with it, you'll never really have that worry to come with it. But I could imagine that line in the sand where it gets really skewed between this really fucked up character that you don't emotionally know how to connect with and is a character that you don't see yourself portraying, but you actually find out that you could play them very well because you tap into that type of thing. And it's like, well, I don't really see myself as this character, but I could do this character very well. So that line comes a little bit more skewed. And if I'm capable of doing this,
right? Am
I actually capable of doing this kind of thing?
Yeah.
And that's when, I guess, method acting gets really fucking wild too.
Yeah, because I've used, I learned this with Jim Gleason that I have trauma, man. We all do as humans, and I was lucky enough that I was able to find a place for that trauma and deal with that trauma. But it's always here, and I use it often. I use it in Obsidian when you seen I was getting attacked by that monster, and there's tears rolling on my face, and
you channel that shit.
And that's what we were talking about before you got here, because I'm like, dude, look at this guy's face, man. Like it looks fucking wrenching, And that's the thing, is when you can feel what the actor is feeling, and that's one of the things with Antebellum, when old girl's getting dragged to the frickin' burn house, like, man, that gave me chills because I imagine the fear. And not to mention, you're a soldier being told what to do. Right? So I put myself back in that period because I like period films. I like a lot of war type things, and I like things about the Civil War. But it's, what would a soldier or a Confederate or whoever in between would be thinking? Because even as a man, okay, just as a human being, there had to be conflict there, right? I'm doing my job because this is what my job dictates that I'm doing, even though I don't know if I 100% believe in what I'm doing.
Right.
And I think about those things, and to feel that.
That still happens today. Like I'm just, with soldiers, it's like we go and, police these countries and stuff, and these guys, I'm sure they don't want to be there, man. They don't want to be there. They don't want us there.
Fighting somebody else's war,
so like,
man.
it's constantly, it's a constant thing, and I see where you're coming from with that,
But if you're watching a movie, or you're watching a series, or a short, or an independent film, or whatever, and you feel that, and it makes you think, that is always going to ring out in your head. There's so many things that I've watched over my lifetime, and now with the podcast and the production side, business and all that stuff, I have a lot less time to watch movies and things of that nature. Don't really get a whole lot of time to do it. Just like you said, man, I don't really have time for podcasts because I'm working. And the same with us. But when I do see something and it makes me think and it makes me feel something, I know it's good because it has my psyche tripping at that moment,
right.
And that's the kind of shit that I like. I like stuff that makes me feel.
Yeah,
and because of being an addict my whole life and numbing all those senses for so long, I'll be honest, sometimes it's hard for me to feel when I'm watching something, and it's really hard for me to appreciate certain things, and it's really hard for me not to appreciate something that's not an original fucking idea, because that's what I find where Hollywood
is win. Yeah,
it's like, man, get a fucking idea, a good idea. Brilliant people out there, like you said, all those guys you're working with writing and just content creators and production crews. That just goes to show, Rattlesnake Dre said it cost $250,000, I think it was, just to make his episode. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what kind of shit we could do with $250,000, bro? We can make a whole couple seasons of shit.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like when I do these big productions, the money, it's almost endless. Like just the way we treat it and the food. I mean, it's just everywhere around. It's like they have this huge budget, and it's so crazy because you want an independent film sale, and you're doing what you can to make things work, and I think that's when like real art is born, when you have nothing.
Absolutely.
And you build something. In this independent world, it's. I think it's where I belong right now, and I think, like you said, there's things that are being cultivated by people who, we all see dollar signs, this mighty dollar, but it's when you really see people, passionate about, this seed that they've planted, and it's starting to sprout, and then, they grow in this idea, and to see it come to life. So yeah, it's two different worlds, because I've been on big studio productions, and I've been on very slim finances independent films, and it is two different worlds. But I really like the independent world. It's great. Like you said, Hollywood. I love these big budget movies, and it's big and it's flashy, and it's But what are we seeing? We're seeing a lot of good content from the 70s, and 80s and early 90s that are just being remade. And I'd love to throw his name out there, because he's one of the hardest people I've ever seen, working in the film industry. Travis Mills is a director and actor, and he just did 12 Westerns in 12 months.
I saw that.
And when I seen the first one come out, the first casting call, I was like, I want to be a part of this. Like, I want to be a part of this. Like, I remember as a child watching Westerns, and I was like, man, how cool it would be for me to be in a fucking period piece Western, right? and I'd watch it every month, man, and I'd send them auditions, and I was trying, man. I was trying to get on so bad, and this guy from Arizona, New Mexico, Illinois, Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana, filmed 12 Westerns in 12 months and raised, I think the last time I saw was like $60-something thousand.
My God.
So people believed in him, and I'm glad they did, because he was fucking amazing. And finally, the one before last, which is called the one before last Western, I got booked, and I got casted for a character named John Alexandra, who holds up a stagecoach, and it's called Tales of the Natchez Trace. And what studio would have put out content like that? And this is all real. This guy and historians researched, like the character I played was a real guy, and the gang I belonged to was a real gang, and they were really robbing people in the Natchez Trace, and he went and he built this, and he built it from people believing in him, and not these fucking big contracts that are made in these closed door rooms in LA, and
because I feel like it's gotten to the point now where it's like, give me something that's gonna make us some money quick. Yeah. And that's what like you get with high CGI, right. Things of that nature. Because yes, I can look at something, say like Avengers, right, and I can say, man, this is really fucking cool to look at. But when I really look at the substance of everything going on, it's just a bunch of jumbled bullshit. Yeah. And I'm gonna get hate. The rebellion's gonna get hate because I'm talking about Avengers, okay? But I'm just saying that is what I relate to now, because
it's all flash and no substance.
You can buy boomboxes with cassettes again. You can buy Walkmans again. Okay, right. These things are coming full circle. Artists are making cassettes, new albums on cassette again, because retro lifestyles are coming all the way around. One of my favorite series of all time is Mystery Science Theater, right? Because it took what used to be B-rated indie films and it brought them into a new light and gave them a whole new cult following through comedy. And that's what I'm hoping will happen again with a lot of the production companies around the state that are doing their things with film and media content, because we're in the age of media. I give them props, man. I just hope they just keep on putting out exceptional media, exceptional content, because I'm going to 100% always back that over mainstream media any day.
Yeah.
Any day.
Yeah.
Because at least you can pique my attention with what you guys are doing, and they haven't had me for years.
There's a saying that, I mean,
except for The Rock and Jumanji, I really like that.
Yeah, he's somewhere over there, right? Well, there's a saying that, you know, like this still rings super true to me, and I heard it really early on, and it always comes back to me for some reason, is that creativity is born in limitation. And when you are not able to look at basically wide open spaces and can box in a particular, you know, scenario, that's whenever you can live in that box and break it open. Whereas if you're looking in this vast, you know, open space, that's overwhelming, and not a whole lot could come out of that because it's so overwhelming. But if you're able to put yourself in that little box, then break out of it, that's where you start to see some really awesome creative stuff.
Well, Hick, I really appreciate you coming on, man. I know you got to get on the road, my man. But guys, you got to check him out. Check him out on Facebook, Hick Cheramie. Just Google him. You're going to be able to check it out. Obsidian is a little bit... you have to go looking for it, guys. You're not going to be able to stream it. It's a great movie. Antebellum is on Amazon Prime, I think, and so is Money Plane. If you go on IMDB, everything that he was ever in, you can just go ahead and freaking pop through it there. But support local talent. Support local art. And dude, we're gonna keep in touch with you, man. We're gonna watch you every step of the way, and we're rooting for you, dude. We are absolute fans,
it, man. Yeah, because between you and the community, the support has been, it's a big part of my drive. It's a huge part of my drive. You know, to be able to come, you know, from our community and you know, I'm proud of our community. You know, like Obsidian, you know, I was like, I want to use my Cajun accent, and she was like, no, I want you to use your Cajun accent. Same with Natchez, you know, Tales of Natchez Trace. Travis was like, don't change your accent. Let's use your Cajun accent.
Yeah, I want to see that. I haven't seen that.
So that should be coming out, I think, at the end of this year. But yeah, man, you know, it's about just, you know, bringing that culture where I can bring in and show more people about it, and let people hear that we're not illiterate, and that we are talented, and we are all brilliant fucking people. I mean, goddamn, you can go anywhere in this world, you're not gonna meet any more strong-willed people than a fucking Cajun.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Look how we survived, and what we built, and what, you know, we continue to build, and what we've been through, and what we've overcome, and you know. So I'm grateful for y'all having me, man. I'm humbled and honored, and I'm grateful for my community. They're so important to me.
Awesome, man. Let our audience know where to go check you out, brother.
Yeah, you can look Hick Cheramie actor on Facebook, or you can go in Instagram. You can, I forgot my Instagram handle. Is it just Hick Cheramie _actor?
Yeah,
there we go. And or you know, Google my name, and those social media accounts will come up. And just be on the lookout for Vampire Bud. I'm so excited to share this with the world.
I'm excited. I'm stoked.
Like, I promise you, as soon as I will definitely let you two know, because I think you guys are really gonna appreciate it.
And we'll talk about it. We'll definitely let everybody know.
Absolutely push the shit out of it.
We're all about that free advertisement.
And I'll definitely be pushing this for y'all, and man, this was pretty cool. I think that more people I know should be on this fucking show. I think they would really like this kind of interview, because some of them other interviews get real tight. But man, y'all were cool. And thank y'all so much for having me.
Man.
Thank you, bro. Absolutely, man. It was a pleasure, man.
for listening to the Dang Swamp Rebellion. Check us out on social media and at dsrtalks.com.